We're back. What's going on, everybody? And welcome to Alone Together Pittsburgh, streaming at you live here tonight on the 30th of December, episode 129 of week 40 something of our social experiment here, streaming to you live. We started Alone Together Pittsburgh to keep a sense of community going for everybody. During this, we started the first night that the shelter-in-place orders came down from the state, and we've been rolling at it ever since with 3 or 4 episodes a week. This week is an outlier. This is a one-show week because of the holidays coming up, and we did a one-show week last week. The streak's alive, but I guess you could put an asterisk by them. Last week's show, our holiday episode, which I highly recommend everyone going back and checking out, the Grinch showed up. The Facebook Grinch came in and shut our show down at about the 25-minute mark, and we couldn't get it back up live. It came back up later on that night. The whole show, we completed the show, but some people didn't get to ask as many questions as they wanted to. So if you want to hit up tonight and ask some questions, we'll try to. Yeah, that happened a lot. Don't play the other one, Dave, because that's the one that got us. So, it was a game called Cronenberg or a Christmas Song. But anyway, it was a great show to check that out. But Christmas is behind us. The new year is upon us. And I don't know about you, but I'm thinking about let's make 2020 a leap year. Like it didn't happen. Let's just wipe that crap from our memory and try to start fresh and hope things are going a little bit better. Before we start the show and get things rolling, Klein is going to be here, and Natalie Bencivenga is going to be here, and her 5 minutes is with the one and only Cyril Wecht himself. So you guys want to stick around for the whole show for that. But before I do that, I want to tell you, ticking below us is our Venmo. It is @TogetherPGH. If you want to kick in a couple of bucks, we would love it. We would love you and appreciate that. Nothing's too small. $1, $5, $3, whatever you got. If you get $500 or more, you can come on the show as a guest. Yeah, that's right. Call it payola. Call it whatever you want, but it doesn't matter. So anyway, thank you for doing that. I know it's like donor fatigue central. You guys are probably, if you haven't gotten bombarded with emails, you're going to tomorrow. So before everyone bombards you with emails for last minute end of year giving stuff, give the Alone Together Pittsburgh. The money goes to the artists involved with the show every night. So we would greatly appreciate it. Aaron Hagenhart. That's right. It was quite a show. It was a good one. The holiday show was great. But tonight's going to be a little more low key. And we're going to blow it up next week because if you've been watching the show, we have a little thing called the Engine House 25 Winery Jagoff Poll. Okay? We've been running this thing since March Madness got canceled in, obviously, March. And we're finally at the end. There were detours. There were weeks that we didn't do it. There were weeks that we did. The grid has been slowly shrinking. We had our in-show Lil Jagoff polls battle it out. So there's been over 175 different options to go through. That's all Pittsburgh-centric to get into this poll. And it has come down to 2. Dave, are you with me to talk about what's going on? What's going on with the voting between those two?
Yeah, man, it's a hot. How long are we going to hang on to this thing? We were trying to time it, right, with the end. That's the thing. If we could time it to end right there, boom, the Jag, announce the winner, crown the thing. Everybody, let's have a party, take off your mask. We're all going to get down and make out, right? That was the idea?
That was the plan, Dave. That was the plan.
I still think we could maybe pull this off because we are like experts at stretching things. As long as if it was a horse, it's like a Night of the Living Horse, right?
You could have like 55 people would be riding on that horse's back.
Yeah, man. Kurt Angle versus the Cookie Table is happening now. Look at that. I just want to say that these are some great shots of Kurt Angle, but can he take the heat? Now, we all know he's an Olympiad, but even the best Olympiad has a time in his life when it's the best and everything's going for him. When he's driving the cool car with the top down, maybe an old Porsche, and he's dating Brenda or Kelly, he's got his choice. You know what I mean? Because he's the coolest dude in town. He's eating cookies, making pizzas. But then he goes to college, and there's a whole different scene in college. Because in college, cookies reign. The cookie table. Think of Pittsburgh as like college. That's how I think of it. I went to college in Pittsburgh. I never left. I'm still in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is the college of cookie tables, and Kurt's got to go against that cookie table. And you know what I'm saying? That's right, you're on screen, Patrick. That's no small order. But let's look at these results, because we're going to roll this one. He's got a little bit longer. 180 votes in 12 days. Oh, wow. Kurt Angle is beating the living pulp, which only goes to show you the cool kids always win. Happy 2020, motherfuckers.
I'm going to guarantee you that the cookie table will have a better showing before this is said and done. We need to advertise. We need to publicize this.
If Kurt wishes were horses, then beggars would ride, Patrick. That doesn't play anymore.
It's going to be closer. I'm just telling you right now. It's a late when there are bubbas and yentas and nanas. They're going to find out about this. Okay, we got to tap into a new demographic. Okay?
Watch your mouth, Patrick. It's a family show.
What did I say that was? Anyway.
Bubba's Yentas. Oh, my God. Oi, oi.
They love cookies. It's the cookie table. This is what happens. It's an iconic Pittsburgh thing, okay? So, look, Kurt Angle battled it out with Michael Keaton in the highest point total that we've had, okay, the whole time. So that was what it was. Kurt defeated that. And the cookie table ended up going through a lot of contenders, but beat striking distance. Okay, which was recently left off of a poll of the best Pittsburgh movies. I forget who did it. There was a thing for the best movies made in Pittsburgh. Anyway, before we move on to our first guest, which I'm dying to talk to, I want to tell you a little bit about the sponsor of the poll, Engine House 25 Winery. So if you go to eh25.com, you can find the entire selection of wines that they have there. They are all fantastic. I highly recommend picking them up. They're doing free delivery during the pandemic, and they also have curbside. So if you want gloves and masks, comes out to you. That you can still get some of the holiday swag they have there. They have lots of different wines, as Dave's showcasing the tequila wine that they have there. They have the holiday labels, but what I'm telling you is the wine is killer. All pressed and crushed and bottled in Pittsburgh at Engine House 25, which is at 3339 Penn Avenue, right there in Doughboy Square where Lawrenceville meets the Strip District. So check that out. And speaking of Lawrenceville meeting the Strip District, I think it's time for our in-show poll, Dave. Tell them about it.
This one is near and dear to my heart. Near and dear. Ladies and gentlemen, what is Pittsburgh if not for its disasters that we know and love every day when things are blowing up and stadiums are falling off a cliff and all sorts of fun stuff? This is the sink-off. You know what I mean? We didn't get just one sinkhole that, like, sucked the world into it in Pittsburgh. We got two. The other one just happened. Blink and you miss it. So today, we're going to do a nice little jag. The sinkhole bus versus the chairlift sinkhole happening right there by Engine House Wise. In fact, Engine House Wise got a front row view of that little chairlift. So there we are, another wonderful Pittsburgh happening. The sinkhole bus versus the chairlift. New boy incumbent. How are you going to vote, Pittsburgh? It's happening now, Facebook people. Vote away, vote hard, vote twice, or vote once.
Get your vote going. And that the photo was, I believe, taken by Dwayne
Reeder. There you go.
Reeder, who's like, it's a cell phone picture. He's a killer photographer. But anyway, so those are the two sinkholes that you can vote on right now. And speaking of sinkholes, I think we should throw it. Is Pete Spinda with us down in the Strip District? We just want to check in and say hello to him.
What's up, Patrick?
What's up, buddy? You like my segue?
Nice. Well done.
That's nice. You're in the shop there, getting ready, huh? Getting ready for the big day.
Bagging the crowd.
Bagging the crowd. All right, my friend. Hope you had a good Christmas. Did you?
No.
Good. All right. Well, talk later. We'll check in with you periodically.
My daughter there's no Santa Claus. That was cool.
That's not true, though. That's not true.
Sort of true.
It's not. It's true if you stop believing. But anyway, I believe you are working your ass off tonight, my friend, and have been since before the Christmas holidays. So keep up the good work, my friend.
I'll be here bagging all night.
All right,
hey, Pete, you could do like a crazy little like store dance. You know what I mean? Nobody's watching except for the rest of Pittsburgh. You could do a fun little dance. How about that?
But then I got people in the back.
Oh, okay.
He's
right,
gone.
Well,
Forget it. That's it.
Okay. So Ellen Mansueto was letting you know that it's a forklift, Dave, not a chairlift. And Ruth Ann Malloy, who is an angel who I love more than anything in the world. Sinkhole bus. Ruth Ann Malloy, I think your vote is going to carry this. Check back in about a half hour. Keep that rolling. So anyway, folks, that was it. I think we're ready. Dave, before we bring out Hal B. Klein, how was your holiday? How was Christmas?
It was the best Christmas I've ever had. It's like, it was great. It wasn't, it was interesting. It was a change of pace. It was nice to get to change it up a little bit. Miss the fam. Got to do lots of what do you call it when you do the video? The Zoom. We did the Zooms. We did like 15 Zooms. But you know what? It was nice. It was its own thing. Pittsburgh gave us a blessing with the snow. That was magical, didn't you think?
I agree, man. The snow was. When has that ever happened though? Like other than like in a Christmas story, but there was no snow. It was raining, done, kind of gloomy, nothing on the ground. You fall asleep, you wake up, boom, white Christmas.
Magic.
My daughter went crazy for it. She loved it.
Did you go sledding? What did you do? Make snowman?
We made snowmen, a couple, and they didn't last long, but they were there. We did outside stuff with my dad, and my stepmom came over on Christmas Day, and my dad actually somehow made a miniature snowman that lasted till halfway through today. I don't know how it happened. It was like this big. He just put it on the wall there, and it just remained. I don't know how with all these hawks and squirrels running around, but so that happened. So yeah, it was good, man. We did social distance. I missed the fam, being with the fam. Christmas Eve was always big, and then stuff on Christmas Day. But I think everybody understands that times are different, and that's it. So yeah, I guess that's the word on the street. So that was it. You had a good time. Did you get any gifts? Did you get anything good?
Yeah, baby. Oh yeah. I've been making pizza non-stop. I got one of those little pizza ovens. Been making pizza I'm trying to impress Hal B. Klein with my pizza making skills because I'm working on that.
All right. So before, all right, well, we'll bring that up. We'll bring up some photos from that going before we bring out Hal. One more thing. We're doing this show. I know it's the holidays. I know things are shut down and some things are not, blah, 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 blah. Please keep wearing your mask. Keep that going. The COVID numbers actually came down a little bit today, 525. Today, I know there's a lag in testing with stuff, but we're averaging out around 800, which is still not that great. So keep that going, because yesterday the numbers were 1,020 with 41 deaths. I think there's some weird stuff going on with that. But please, if I can, like, stress this to you, there were another 47 deaths today. This thing is serious. This is not a joke. Please wear your masks. Please wash your hands. Keep social distancing however you can. We're almost through the holiday season, which is, was predicted to be pretty bad. So hopefully we got it worked out. So keep that going. Wear a mask. Bruce Springsteen would agree with me.
Wear a mask.
That wasn't Bruce Springsteen, but it was very much Batman.
Put on a fucking mask.
And there's the boss. So anyway, he said it. I didn't roll with it. So now, without further ado, let's bring him out right now. Hal B. Klein, the preeminent food writer, in my opinion, in Pittsburgh.
Hi. Oh,
Hey.
thank you. Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Did I catch you in the middle of something? Did I do a quick segue? It was a little too fast.
Here I am. I was just having a sip of beer right before.
Oh, that's totally allowed here.
Yeah.
What kind of beer are you drinking, Hal? Can I put you on
I
the spot?
am drinking Brewdog Hazy Jane New England style IPA. That is very tasty.
Nice.
Although I went, Trace Brewing just opened in my neighborhood, and I had a bunch of that the other day, which was also very delicious. And randomly, apropos of nothing, the Roundabout Beer Garden over the summer was, I think, like the secret gem of Pittsburgh on the subject of beer.
That's
it was
great.
just a great space. Yeah. So that's what's happening. Also, I just want to give a shout out to the Pittsburgh Cookie Table, because I think like there are a lot of traditions that Pittsburgh sort of claims as a Pittsburgh thing. Like, we love pierogi here. We love French fries on sandwich. And those are great and really part of the Pittsburgh food culture, but not like a Pittsburgh thing on itself. Whereas like the Cookie Table is like this magical, like Western Pennsylvania, West Virginia thing that is like our region. And I remember like the first time I went to a wedding here and I was like, what is this? Like, think about it. Like, you have this group of people that get together and make cookies for you to take home from a wedding as like a thank you for coming here. And everyone's got like their family recipes. It's amazing. A plus for
Sean
the
Enright,
Pittsburgh
Sean
Cookie
Enright agrees with you, I think.
Table.
But yeah, man. I see. The thing is, I'm from here, right? Every wedding, the Cookie Table was already there. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
already like it was. I thought everybody did this. I didn't realize
No.
it was a Pittsburgh thing till much later in life.
Yeah, it is like a very, very special thing. And I think like especially, and I would say that like special thing in the sense of like when you get it, when it's like all the like aunts and uncles and friends of the family make their things, as opposed to like getting a catered cookie table, which can be great too, but doesn't have like that same personal touch. But like that personal touch, man, that is a special thing.
I have been to some weddings where the cookie table was beyond epic, itemized, labeled, like who made these cookies. On every tray had a tag, and there was like 50 different trays of cookies laid out to the side, and people weren't lining up for the wedding cake. They were lining up for the cookies, and they all had a plate to take some cookies, and then the to-go bags came out. People were replenishing these. Like, people had like, everybody made 3 trays of these cookies, and only one was on display at a time. And like the wait staff was swapping out the table, and they were the right cookie. It was amazing. I don't know.
Yeah, they've got the backups. People have their specialties. I mean, it's so good.
Yeah. So
I'm not even a big cookie eater, but like.
So the cookie table went through the entire left side of the bracket and beat some big contenders on the way. And Kurt Angle basically has cut through everybody with the exception of Michael Keaton, like a hot knife through butter. So for whatever reason, our audience is loving Kurt Angle. So I thought our audience was something totally different, but
Great
Kurt,
Pittsburgher, you know.
well, he's a fantastic Pittsburgher. He's gold medalist,
Yeah.
and then like the
Yeah.
wrestling, everything. He's an icon, really. But But yeah, the cookie table is some, well, we'll see how it ends up. We're gonna probably end this thing a week from Friday.
I'll hope to get some sleep before then.
All right, good. Well, speaking of that, man, what's going on in town? What's going on with you? Have you had some good food lately? And also, you had your last. I don't know if it was your last article, but an article you wrote right before the holidays when the shutdown came down in Pittsburgh Magazine. I thought was perfect. I shared it as many times as I could and told everybody to read it. I thought it was wonderful, and I've been wanting to have you on to talk about it.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I think the shutdown that happened, I think it was December 12th, maybe sometime around then, like that was psychologically, I think, and financially, like just such a blow to restaurants. Because the holiday season is this time of year when restaurants really earn a lot of money. It's like you've got holiday parties, you've got gatherings of all sorts, people going out for like dates, special nights. And of course, like that couldn't happen in the same way this year anyway, but then to be able to like add on top of that, just like this idea that, you got to shut down again, even though it was like 100% the right call, like 100% the right call. But, that doesn't really make it any less devastating to people that run restaurants and work in restaurants when they're not getting what should be the other side of that right call, which is, and we're going to give you the financial support you need to stay closed, which is what should have happened the whole time. Restaurants, the people that work in restaurants, among other places, salons, gyms, any place that you're indoors with like close contact.
Theaters.
Yeah, you need that support if you're going to ask people to do the right thing and shut down. So, it got me thinking about ways that we can still support restaurants because there's lots of things we can do. And so, I think the first thing I thought about was just this idea that delivery apps are so convenient, but they take such like 30% from the bottom line of a restaurant. And so to call a restaurant directly and order from them directly and go pick it up, like, if mobility isn't an issue for you, is a way to like, one, just get direct financial support to restaurants. But then also the more I talk to people that were working in restaurants, I was like, does it matter like when people come in and they're nice, when they smile at you and they're like, yes, like it makes such a difference to like see the people that we're used to seeing. And, so again, like the financial support and the emotional support you get just by coming in and like, giving an eye smile and being nice to someone, really, it makes a difference and it goes a long way. And, on that same token, the next thing I wrote about was tipping. And I think, people are like, oh, should I tip for takeout? I'm not used to tipping for takeout. And, I think I wrote in the story, like in February, it was like, you go and get a cup of coffee and it's like, do you want to add 25% tip? And you're like, wait, what? Like, why are you? But now it's like, yes, because the people, and this is like a whole other thing of like tip minimum wage and wage structure and tipping. But it's like the tips that that you would give to someone when you're serving them are really like supplementing their wage more than anything else. And it's the same people that are doing that and doing that labor, right? It's their wage. They're earning $2.83 an hour plus tips. And so tipping for takeout makes sense because you need to like do your part to like support people, and you're asked, people are in restaurants. It's again, like it's stressful to be there. Right. So it's like, do your thing, especially if you're not eating out that much and you can afford it. So, I've been suggesting to people that they should tip, like 5% more than they normally would tip.
Oh man. Yeah. I've been suggesting more. I'm
or
like,
more.
Tip
Yeah.
everything. I'm just saying tip everything you can. I mean, at this point for takeout, we try to talk about it on this. I mean, you kind of hit the nail right on the head with this article, man. And it should be a blueprint. I wish everybody could read it. You know what I mean? I wish I could make sure a lot of people who are, giving a hard time to people at takeout. And when you said the eye smile, okay, that's a very 2020 thing. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if my eyebrows are such that even my eye smile comes off as evil. Like I don't, it doesn't work for me. I used to have a mask handy here. The mask has gone away.
You just use your hands, cover your faces, and do eye smiles.
It's just kind of like, I can't like, see, I'm smiling right now, but I might want to kill you. It's my eyebrows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're doing a little. Maybe in your case, just be nice.
I try to be, but it's also weird if I come in, I'm like, hey, what's going on, buddies? Everything all right? It's a whole thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just like the general idea of just, going in, because I think, even before this, there's, like it really showed like the power dynamic in restaurants, because sometimes, like most people would go to restaurants and be super nice and be happy to like be there and be happy to like do everything they can for the people that work there. But then like there were also like just like a lot of entitled people coming into restaurants and just demanding things and saying, like, why should I have to wear a mask? I've been coming here for 20 years and all that stuff. And it's like, so like the last point in this thing, I think was actually like the most important one, which was just be a good neighbor, like we all got to care about strangers right now. And that's the way we're going to get through this. And it's the way we're going to like make things easier for people in all walks of life, is just to be like good to each other and believe in science. And, in the end, it sort of ended with me saying, like having some words for people that decided to keep their restaurants open in defiance, out of like this, like weird, like we're revolutionaries. And it just, it's like so short-sighted and it's so selfish, and it really hurts, like other restaurant owners and hurts the industry. I was so proud. I don't know if anyone gets excited to watch the Allegheny County weekly briefing at 4 p.m. every Wednesday.
I tend to, but yeah, I think it's just you and me, Hal.
Yeah, but I love that, Dr. Bogan today, like actually called out the restaurants that were violating this, and was, really strong in her language, because the county's doing as best they can, but they can only do so much. And then said, there are hundreds of other restaurants to choose from. Like maybe these are the places you should get your support. And I know for me, it's like whatever short-term thing they think they got out of this, I feel like if we all recognize the places that do that and say long-term, like, screw you, like we're just not going to go to your restaurants anymore. There are tons of other places to support.
And it's easy to find these restaurants, to know about. I mean, Safe Service Allegheny, if you go to their website right now, they've got a long list of everybody who's basically following every protocol and order that comes down the thing. There's other sites too that you can find that out. So, yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, what I liked was, hold on a sec, Pete, do you want to come in? I'm getting word here from the booth here. Does Pete want to come in?
I didn't say anything. I'm just chilling.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Go back. Oh, yeah. Pete was just doing that. Sorry about that, Hal.
Just take it out with Sarah. Is he coming in to defend pierogi as part of Pittsburgh too?
That's basically what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought. Yeah. I mean, these restaurants that are opening and making it like they're these patriots that are doing this and stand up for whatever. It's driving me crazy, because it's just. I mean, you've already got, everybody's short, right? Everybody's short, staff short, police staff short, ambulance, everybody, like EMTs, everybody's short right now. So to have to go and try to like to basically call down the thunder, like, yeah, come shut me down. I'm making these eggs. Like you're gonna eat these eggs. They're the best $3 eggs in town. Like,
yeah, you're going out to like get scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like, but I think, on the opposite side, there are so many places that are doing the right thing and doing well and trying to think about the people that work for them and the public. And I think there's just, for me, it's like, let's go out and support them and celebrate them and, champion those places.
And I mean, another thing that I liked here that you mentioned earlier is that these shutdowns were needed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been nice if they would have gotten a little bit more time, like a little bit, more, yeah. To know that the shutdowns were coming, yeah.
And this week, this one was also, it was like the rumors were out there like over that weekend. It was like, oh, we're hearing these things. Then it was like Monday happened and Governor Wolf gave his conference and nothing happened. And, the rumors are there. And then it was like, it wasn't until Thursday that it was like Saturday you're done. And I think I get it in some sort of sense, because they don't want to like, I think the logic is if we give too much time, then people will like go out and be like, we've got like our 4 days of going to restaurants, as opposed to like this, where they're like, we've got our one night. And
it was downtown was pretty packed.
Yeah, everyone goes out like it's like the last night on earth, and it's like, if you give a little more time, I think you give time for places to go through their inventory and not waste food, and enough time for people that work in restaurants to like make sure that they're not like, oh great, I'm out of income in 2 days. And again, like there is no fully right way to do this. It's like everyone's just doing the best they can. And I think that goes, from everyone from the county level to the state level. in Pennsylvania. You know, like they're trying their best, but it's like it is really hard. And I think, you know, hopefully as we go through the next couple months, they'll find a way to kind of like work. Because I think the hard part is I don't think there's a lot of consultation with people that operate restaurants before these things happen. And I think at least, you know, if you pull some people into the conversation, maybe you'll find a way to like be able to continue to keep safe, because that at the end of the day is the most important thing, but also to make it like a little bit less, you know, dire on like what happens to restaurants.
Right. Shifting gears for a second, what are your favorite takeout spots? What are your go-tos?
Oh man.
I know there's a million. You've been doing it.
Yeah.
But just off the top
I've
of your
been
head.
just like trying to like spread it around. I mean, I just had these hot oil dumplings from Sakura today.
Oh.
So like that's hot on my mind because they were so good. I had, you know, Spork. Sean's on here right now. I had a great cocktail from Sean at Spork and a good lamb shank.
Wow.
I had tacos at Smoke today. Sean's happy about that. It's a good cocktail, Sean. Tacos at Smoke. I was like, last week I wrote a thing about sandwiches because I've just been like getting a lot of sandwiches from places.
That's awesome, man.
So Pane Pronto, Oak Hill Post, which is if you're in the South Hills, that place, I slept on that for a while. That place is great.
Which place?
Oak Hill Post.
Oak Hill Post. I have not been to Oak Hill Post. I've done Pane Pronto though, but go on.
Yeah, Bitter Ends when they do specials. You know, I think it's great. So also, you know, all sorts of places. Cafe 33, I love. Everyday Noodles.
I had takeout from Khalil's. It was amazing.
I got it. They're like on my like list of places.
Dude,
and they're close to my house. So
yeah, check them out. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I'm gonna get them next week.
with the lamb shank and the it was off the hook. And they've got some killer wines too. I was very much impressed. But anyway, yeah, go on. But
so like that's what's been.
That's great. Just what you've been doing. Like that's great. I just always like to, you know, just check in on that. Now, another thing to check in on, New Year's Day is just around the corner. Okay.
Yeah.
The foods here in Pittsburgh. I mean, we're pork and kraut here, right? Are you going to be doing pork and kraut on New Year's Day? I'm
going to do pork and kraut on New Year's Eve. I'm getting wild. I'm jumping the gun.
trying to get this year behind us as fast as possible.
Yeah, just like let's just eat it now and start over.
We should have just started eating pork and kraut in March. This whole thing would have been done.
I know. We really messed up. But yeah, I'm making a pork brisket, which is like this incredible cut of meat that I got over the summer for the first time at Heritage Craft Butchers, down in Mariana, which is an amazing butcher shop. And you don't really find this kind of meat that often because on like commercial hogs, it just doesn't work. But on like a well-raised, sustainable hog, like it is an amazing thing. So I'm going to roast that. And then my friend Keith, who happened also his Pittsburgh wedding to his wife Alex, like their cookie table was life-changing. He's got like 45 aunts and they all have their specialties. And I still remember that cookie table, but he started making sauerkraut a couple months ago and it's ready. I had some the other night. And so like, they're going to come over and like hang out in the garden. I got these.
Weather's supposed to be good too, right? The weather's supposed to.
I think it's going to be nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got these heaters called Mr. Heater. They're these propane things, and they've got these two eyes, like short Johnny Five and Short Circuit. You know, like
I know Johnny Five. Johnny Five is alive.
Yeah, they like look like that. So like
El DeBarge on the soundtrack. You got to play El DeBarge tonight. Then I know those ones that hook up right to the propane tank. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so we're gonna do that, and it'll be nice.
I went all in. I went whole hog. I've got two mushroom heaters in my back. Look there. Well, Dave's found a couple here at a pandemic price at $79.99, right at 97 at Lowe's. They're not those weren't that expensive last year, but I guess it's a supply and demand thing. But check out Lowe's. But anyway, that's cool, Hal. I mean, that's awesome. Well, thanks for your time. I could keep you here all night, man. But But yeah, I just want to thank you for everything you're doing, man. Your columns have been hitting it. You can check out Hal's stuff. Pittsburgh Magazine, he's there. You can also we've got all his handles up on our in our chat bar there, and they'll come across here. Well, you're at on Twitter. You're Twitter and Instagram. You're at Hal.
At Hal B. Klein, yeah.
At Hal B. Klein, nice and easy.
Yeah.
And all right, so Instagram and Twitter. There you go. So check out Hal. Check out all his stuff. And Hal, thanks so much for what you're doing. And maybe come back next week and for the cookie table finals.
Yeah, I'm into that.
All right, awesome, man. Well, thanks. Thanks for being here with us tonight, Hal. And everybody, check this stuff out. How you can help Pittsburgh restaurants and other columns from Hal B. Klein. Thanks, buddy. Happy New Year, man. Thank you for being here. All right, yeah, Hal's awesome. That's great. That was fun. So that was rolling. That was cooking. Hey, Dave, let's check in on the in-show poll, the sinkhole.
The old-time in-show poll, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a hot day with this old-timey poll talking about sinkholes in the Pittsburgh area. Oh, those sinkholes, better watch out. You'll be walking down the street, falling in a sinkhole. Sinkhole bus kicking the crap out of the chairlift, the forklift. Sorry, Mom. Sinkhole bus is dominating, but not by much.
We can't tell.
There's a chance for that hole with the fork hole to come forward.
It's close.
Here.
So get your votes in there. Get that going there right now. And all this talking to Hal B. Klein about food and takeouts and all this stuff got me thinking about buying fresh and buying local. Should I get under this? I mean, I'm just gonna
kiss yourself.
Kiss myself. Good God. Anyway, the placement on that's not bad. Hey, but I was thinking about buying fresh and buying local at farmtotablepa.com. Keep it real, keep it fresh, keep it local. Please check out this website. Go to it. You can find out there is a cornucopia of resources of buying fresh and buying local, everything from meats, produce, coffees, everything you can. You can find out when farmers markets are happening. You can find out when you can get CSAs delivered to you, and you can find out what farms have their own farm shops. We have had a lot of the farms that are involved in this area on the show. They've been amazing guests, but they have been mind-blowing. Their websites. We're talking about free delivery on this. Like, it's basically a virtual farm stand that you can get this stuff delivered to your door. So check that out. Go to farmtotablepa.com. And a week from today, we're going to have Aaron Hart is going to send us some other farmers and some other people from the Farm to Table family to talk about what's up in town. So keep it real, keep it local. farmtotablepa.com. So that said, I'm kind of curious as to what Natalie, usually Natalie does her 5 minutes with on Friday, but she had this interview and we didn't want to kick the can down the road. So here she is with a special 5 minutes with, maybe a little bit more than 5 minutes with.
Hey everybody, I'm Natalie Bencivenga, host of 5 Minutes With. It is a true honor this week to have a very special guest, Dr. Cyril Wecht. He is a forensic pathologist as well as a medical and legal consultant, and I'm sure you've heard of him, if not seen him out and about. He's basically Pittsburgh famous and nationally acclaimed and well known. So thank you so much, Dr. Wecht, for taking some time to be with me today.
Thank you, Natalie, for inviting me. I hope you are well.
I am doing well, and I hope you are doing well as well. It's been quite a year. So you just put out a new book, and we'll get to talking about this in a little bit. But when I was thumbing through this, I thought to myself, my gosh, what a calling your profession is. But do you view it that way, or was it something that you really fell in love with from a young age? Or can you even fall in love with forensic pathology?
No, I did not have this mind at a young age. Mm-hmm. At a young age, from the time I was born, and before then, in my mother's uterus, my father told me I was going to be a doctor. So that is the way it was. Mm-hmm. And then I continued into college and applied to medical school. It was somewhere, I don't know, because I was so active perhaps at the University of Pittsburgh in so many activities, and people thought I was pre-law rather than pre-med. I don't know where the idea came from, or I just began to read about things. And in my third year of medical school, I wrote to the AMA to get information about whom I could contact. And they gave me the name of a gentleman who was a top figure in legal medicine at that time. He invited me to attend a program in New York City. I went there and he sat down with me. It was very gracious of him and gave me information. Up until that time, I was told 2 degrees would leave me nowhere. I'd be neither fish nor fowl, and others said I'd be a millionaire overnight. So in any event, that's when I decided to go to law school. And then while I was in law school and continuing with my medical practice in pathology, which I did simultaneously, by the way, both as a civilian in Pittsburgh at the University Veterans Administration Hospital, and then 2 years in the United States Air Force. I served as a captain and pathologist at Maxwell Air Force Base. And then I finished up my forensic pathology training at the medical examiner's office in Baltimore, where I finished also my law school in the evening at the University of Maryland. So I did 10 years in 5. It takes 5 years to become a forensic pathologist after medical school and a year of internship. It takes 3 years of law school and 2 years of military service, and I did 10 in 5. So it kind of evolved. And indeed, I have found it very challenging and stimulating all these years. I've been practicing now then full-time since 1962. So that's 58 years. I continue to do all of this work. I used to do more than 550 cases myself a year. I brought on board a colleague a couple of years ago. She's excellent. We split it up now, and I do about 275 autopsies a year, and she does a similar number. And then I do medical legal consultations for attorneys from all over the country, plaintiff and defendant in civil cases, prosecution and defense in criminal cases. I also then do autopsies. I am the forensic pathologist for coroners in 4 surrounding southwestern Pennsylvania counties, as well as private autopsies for families upon their request.
Wow. That's quite impressive. I mean, my mind's kind of blown right now.
Well, I just wanted to, lay it out there so you'll know what I do, and then you can ask me whatever questions you want.
I appreciate that. And I'm wondering if there's a few clones of you out there, because that's a lot of work for one man. So when I hear all of this, I would think it would be very challenging, especially with some of the higher profile cases you've done or cases that concern children. How do you sort of wash yourself of this at the end of the day? Because I would think that being around a lot of death, a lot of sort of gruesome experiences could really take its toll on someone emotionally. How do you deal with that?
You're quite right, Natalie. Just yesterday, I did an autopsy on a 3-week-old baby. His mother had been feeding him, sitting in a comfortable chair, and she fell asleep, and the baby slid down from her upper lap into the space between her thigh and the chair, and died from asphyxiation.
Wow.
A real tragedy. And then a week ago, I did an autopsy on an 18-day-old baby who just died suddenly. These are very tragic. And the answer to the question is that, I am a sensitive person, and no matter how many autopsies I do, how many cases I see, I am always thinking of the tragedy that befalls these people, the families, and of course, obviously, the victim. I never lose sight of the personal elements of what I do. If you do that, then you become a robot, a machine. I always think of individuals, as I do in my consultations too, about people who have been wronged one way or another on the criminal side or on the civil side with malpractice.
Yeah, it just seems like it would take a lot to try to not internalize everything and take it on. And to shift gears a little bit, I was reviewing some of the higher profile cases of your career, right? Going all the way back to JFK, to Robert Kennedy, Elvis Presley, what happened with O.J. Simpson, JonBenet Ramsey. And I remember you commenting on that one when I was little, but I do remember that. But most recently, and I think most interestingly, you commented on Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes.
And so my comment for you isn't about those cases, because people can read about your commentary, but do you ever get nervous? Were you ever threatened? Do you ever feel like, with this conspiratorial angle that, you got to kind of look over your shoulder a little bit?
I have not been directly threatened. And to my knowledge, no one has attempted to kill me, except once in a while my wife when we have an argument here at the house. But I have paid a price, Natalie. First of all, there are 2 trials that you are aware of that I have had to endure with charges brought against me in 1979, trial in 1981 then, and then in 2006, 84 felony counts brought by the U.S. Attorney. These were very serious. They were all motivated politically and personally. And while I don't think that they were directed against me solely because of what I have said about JFK or other cases, I believe overall, because of my involvement in matters and because of my outspokenness on issues, particularly, for example, police-related deaths, etc., that they played a big role in having these charges brought against me. And so far as my professional life is concerned, I've paid a price, but I have endured, and I somehow have managed to achieve what I set out to do. But in several professional organizations, I have been kind of ostracized. They can't deny me membership or so on. But various roles and committees, speaking engagements that I used to have, and so on, I've paid a price there. So that's the way it goes. I am not happy about having had to endure those. On the other hand, there's an old axiom: that which does not kill you, it makes you stronger. Perhaps I have allowed that to play out in my life, or I have been passively the recipient of that kind of unexpected benefit from some of my worst enemies.
I like that. And what would you say to young people that maybe they're not going to necessarily go into forensic pathology, but with that lens of being somebody that is a whistleblower, is somebody that's outspoken, what advice would you give to them?
Well, Natalie, my advice is, do your thing, be yourself, act the way you think a decent, intelligent, honorable person should do. I don't set out, I'm not a zealot, I'm not a fanatic. When I become involved in a case, when I'm consulted or by news media, I review a matter, and that happens like at least every week or two. I'll get a call from some newspaper or television station, from California to New York, you name it, would I review a matter. I'm very proud of the fact that I continue to receive these, none of which pay any money, with rare exception when I get involved in a more extensive fashion. What I would say to people is, be courageous, be honest, and be consistent. Don't bend with the tide, don't simply fall in with the other people, even though they may be distinguished colleagues, such as happened with me on the JFK assassination. Because in that way, you maintain your credibility, even among your enemies, as well as, of course, among your friends. And so that's my advice. You got to live with yourself, and you got to be content within yourself, knowing that you have done that which you believe in sincerely and honestly. At the same time, don't be rigid. Don't construct concrete walls around your intellectual capacities and beliefs. So those are some of the thoughts that I would pass on to young people. And by the way, there's not a week, I think, that goes by that I don't receive a phone call, an email directly from a student or a student's parent or family member asking me for advice about how to pursue their career. Many of them want to come in and talk with me. They want to shadow me. Sometimes I've had a lot of these students attend autopsies at their request. They were very interested, and so on. And that has meant a great deal to me.
And as we start to wrap up this 5 minutes with, although I could talk to you, I think, for 5 hours, but I wanted to touch a little bit on this book, The Life and Deaths of Cyril Wecht. Why did you decide to do this now?
Well, read the second half of the title.
Memoirs of America's Most Controversial Forensic Pathologist.
Well, see, that answers partly your question. Memoirs. I don't know. I started to work with my wonderful co-author, Jeff Seawald, who is an excellent, experienced, respected author. he came to interview me for a local magazine. And in the course of that, he came up with the idea of, had I ever thought about a book? And I said, well, I don't know. I've been written books. I have 8 books out there for public consumption and about 4 dozen books, some of which are multi-volume sets in my professional field of forensic science and legal medicine. So I sat down with Jeff, and it's been now several years, and we have spent hundreds of hours going over everything. I decided that I kind of owed it to myself to set things out there, and I wanted to have them around, my family and friends and others, etc. And then things began to fall in place. So in my book, while there are capsulized, abbreviated references and discussions about a couple dozen of my famous controversial cases in this country and some from foreign countries, the book also gets into my childhood, growing up then in the Lower Hill District, how that went, the things that I did, and moves ahead through college and so on, and then talks about some of the legal trials and travails that I have had to endure. And the book discusses the criminal justice system, which, by the way, is very important. And I hope that people will keep that in mind too, to learn how the criminal justice system works, and to learn that despite our naivete and arrogance as American citizens, that everything is perfect and pure in America, that is not the case. That the legal system can be corrupted. I'm not the first or the only person who has fallen victim to this. People in powerful positions of district attorney and U.S. attorney, much more so, who have a reason, maybe a personal vendetta, or a strong professional desire on their part to advance their careers. And so that's it. And you have to know that that's a price you're going to pay. And sometimes it's not been pleasant. It's cost me millions, literally millions of dollars. It's been a heavy toll over the years on my wife, my kids, and the last time around, even some of my grandchildren who were already old enough to appreciate what was going on. But that's it. There's no backing off. You do your thing. And so here I am at my age, and I only wish I had another a couple of decades to do some of the things that I would still like to do.
Well, I appreciate you taking a little bit more than 5 minutes with me. And as we finally end the show, because like I said, I continue to keep wanting to ask you questions, but I do have one more question. So spending as much time as you have with the dead, what would your advice be for the living?
My advice for the living? Well, that's a very multifaceted question. There again, I don't tell people, what to do, what to eat, what to drink, not to drink, smoke, don't smoke, drive fast, don't drive fast, climb mountains, do parachuting. And I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I don't have any specific advice. It would be better that you obtain from your personal physician and from your own intelligence in reading about things. One bit of advice I would say is to keep busy, keep active, keep your mind alert, because while there are different ways that people pursue the maintenance of their physical health, diet and exercise and so on, that spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, if you do that with which you are comfortable and you do it the way you honestly believe and you don't bow, what's that great Sinatra song, bow before kings, and do it your way. I love that. That's one of my favorite songs. I did it my way. Do it your way. And then something really which is most important and regrettably over which you have no control, to pick your parents, to get the proper set of genes and hope you don't die at the age of 42 from a heart attack or something like that. So in as much as that's not possible, then play everything the way an intelligent person would. And speaking about that, and to get serious for a moment, if you've got something of a genetic history in your family, which is bad, then you should make sure. Let's say you got a family with a bad history of early onset of arteriosclerotic cardiovascular disease leading to heart attacks and so on. Then, at the age of 35, 40, start to go in for annual checkups. Let your doctor check on you. You got a history of breast cancer. You come from a particular ethnic group, Ashkenazi Jews, like me, and so on. My sons, all went and got some testing to see if they, have it to pass on to their children or so on. So anyway, you do the things that are personal to you in an intelligent, honest way. And if you do that, I really think that much of the battle will have been won for you to lead a life that you can be comfortable with. Sometimes you may not be exhilarated about because of the price you're paying, but your inner self, you'll be comfortable and content.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wecht. And I hope that we can spend 5 more minutes with each other very soon.
Natalie, it would be my pleasure. It's been great to see you, and best wishes to you, your family, for good health, and have a relaxing, enjoyable holiday season.
Same to you. Thank you so much.
Come on. He's a badass, and he's a pro. And that's great, Natalie. Thank you for getting Cyril Wecht to do that interview. That was wonderful.
I had the best time with him. And when I was talking to his publicist, I said, I usually block out about 45 minutes when I film 5 Minutes With, because I like to do a pre-interview. I like to get people comfortable. And he goes, well, Dr. Wecht was wondering if we could just keep it to 30 minutes. He goes, because he's got a lot of energy, but he is 89. And I'm like, he's 89? Like when I talked to him, I was like, this man, he's such a life force. I would never in a million years thought he was 89 years old. He just blew me out of the water about just his whole background, and did 10 years in 5. I'm like, what? I've
met him over the years a couple of times, and he's, what you see is what you get, and sometimes it's a little more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's fantastic. He's actually working on a play right now that they're going to shoot.
Of course he is.
For Pittsburgh Playwrights Theater is going to be working on that coming up in a couple of months, and they're gonna do like a play, but it's going to be like videotape, so it's almost a movie.
Wow.
So he's
I've been
there's going to be a lot of Cyril coming through.
So I'm wondering if he's going to pull anything from his memoirs, but he has such a fascinating story. And I did think it was interesting when he was talking about how the government did come after him, with some of the higher profile cases, because, he definitely doesn't think the official stories are true for a lot of them. And with Epstein in particular, because that one just happened, and he definitely didn't think that he killed himself.
Well, I don't think anyone really thinks that he did.
But I mean, when you listen to him and he tells you like exactly how his bone broke, and it's like, oh, okay, so then he really didn't kill himself.
Well, he's that guy, which is why like I could never have interviewed him, because it would have been 45 minutes. It would have just been me like Elvis. Elvis. But what about Elvis? Seriously, he's still alive, isn't he? Elvis is still alive.
Where is he? Just tell us.
Just tell me where Elvis is. Where is he? I mean, he might be gone now, but he was here 5 years ago. I know it.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? He'd be 90, but it's okay. Like I'd be like Elvis. I'd be like JFK. I was like texting the guys watching this. I'm like, is she gonna dig into JFK? Is she gonna go into Elvis? No, but it was a great interview. He's
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I figured, I know everybody's asked him those questions. You can read those stories, but I was more curious, like, how has that impacted his life and his career? And we talked a lot off camera too, and he sort of delved into more of the fact that it really did affect his bottom line and his livelihood, and he was ostracized from a lot of communities within all of that, and just how that impacted him. So, but what a fascinating. What
a life, and he's still doing it. I mean,
275 autopsies a year.
The fact that he's still, you know what I mean? He still has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
He's still like that guy. You know what I mean? Like that neighborhood guy you want him to be. But I mean, what he has to see. I mean, I almost started crying when he was talking about the couple of cases that he had today. It's just so. I have to deal with that every then. So, rare breed.
Yeah. What an amazing person. So yeah, I thank you. I know that one went a little long, but I was riveted. It was fine. I mean, Dave's the one that had to edit it.
No, or had to not edit it, but like had to cut it so it would keep coming on. I mean,
No,
he was
but
like,
I
"Oh my god!" I said, "Oh god," because we could only show videos up to anyway.
I know.
But anyway, this was one that it was totally worth it. Dave's back there probably cursing us both right now, but I'm going to give you a pass.
Dave.
So shifting gears subtly.
Yes.
How was your holiday?
It was very quiet, and I think that was good. I made a lasagna. My stepson wanted lasagna, so that's what we had, and we exchanged our presents. And I was really enjoying the interview you had with Hal, because I've been really trying this. I've been trying. Since COVID had happened back in March, my husband and I kind of made a pact for as long as we're able, we'll order takeout from a restaurant once a week, to try to help in our little way, And so, but during the holiday season, I've been definitely ordering more. That's
great.
Yeah. And it's been awesome. And so we made sure to do that during this holiday week. We had the Allegro Bakery that just reopened. That's all vegan now in Squirrel Hill. If you haven't been there, it's phenomenal. I go to all my favorite little spots. I love Pino's and Point Breeze. I had a mom and daughter night with my mom because we didn't do Christmas. So I had Pino's brought over to her, and that was nice.
What's your go-to at Pino's?
So I actually love, because all their pasta is homemade and vegan, which a lot of people don't realize, but it's all house made. But they do a tomato broth pasta soup, and it's incredible. It's incredible. It's so good. That and their French fries. I love them.
Oh yeah, no, the place is great. We would, I mean, it's in our neighborhood. So.
Oh, I know. It's just an easy peasy, kind of meal. But yeah, so our holiday was just really quiet, and my husband and I, it didn't feel right to do not that we do these big elaborate displays of gifts every year, but especially this year, it was like, I don't want to do that. It just, so we just gave some causes that we like, and but we spoiled my stepson. But that's what you're supposed to do with kids.
Oh my God, absolutely.
That's what makes you feel good.
You're gonna tell me at this point.
Oh, I know.
Now,
I saw all the many costume changes that.
Oh, she's doing
Pepper
some
was
costume
indulging,
changes.
and I loved it.
Well, this is what it is. I mean, basically, the costumes. I chalk that up to the pandemic, but it probably would happen anyway. Like, we're trying anything we can to keep her. Happy and engaged.
Oh yeah, oh my God.
But literally, her wardrobe has gotten with no place to go. But she does alternate costumes. But the other thing is the toys, little toys, which basically what drives me nuts is the packaging of the toys drives me pretty crazy. I don't know if you had to go through. I made a Facebook post because it was like I started off literally it was
Every
like a
family.
Well, it was like a genuine post. I was like, it's a wonderful time. We're going to get through this. And then I was like, and I want everyone to be good, except for these assholes. Because it was literally, I was my fingers were falling off.
Yes.
Because they wrap everything 65 different times and you can't cut everything out.
No.
And then once they're out, you got to watch where you're stepping at all times.
Exactly. Because it's just this hard plastic wiring everywhere. Yeah.
Anyway.
It's no good. But I have to say, I have these mixed emotions about New Year's Eve. Because we're not doing anything. It's just the three of us, right? So we're not going anywhere. It's the first time since I think I've been 15 years old that I don't have any plans on New Year's Eve. And I know that's so stupid, and it's like, whatever, who cares? This year's the worst. But I was just like, wow, this is really kind of interesting that this is a first time I will just not. And with no intentions, not going anywhere. Nobody's going anywhere. But I just kind of found it sort of a little sad, it was a little melancholy, because it to me, it's such a exciting, fun night out usually, even though it's always a letdown.
It's amateur night in the long run. It's amateur night, and it's,
But I don't know why, but every year I get it in my head that this year it'll be different. And I don't know what's going to happen.
Because you're human.
You're
I think you're definitely not alone in that, because they're talking about it.
But I'm kind of looking forward to just not. I'm like, well, I've never done this as an adult, so this will be a new experience.
So the flip is we kind of stopped going out on New Year's. A few years ago.
That's fair.
And basically did make a certain kind of elaborate meal here.
Oh,
And then,
I like
you know,
that.
yeah. So that's basically what's been happening. That's been the last 4 or 5 years.
Oh, that's a nice
Yeah.
tradition.
So we've been doing that. So that's not that hard of a hit on
Right.
that. But on New Year's Day,
Mm-hmm.
my whole family would get together at my mother's house for pork, sauerkraut, mashed potatoes, and like a massive thing. And it was
Yeah.
like one of only 2 times that this side of my family a year would get together. And it was like, 50, 60 people, like kids,
Yeah.
grandkids, all the way down the road. So I'm going to miss that.
Oh, definitely.
But the New Year's Eve is going to be kind of all right.
Yeah, like you're already mentally
I'm
prepared.
I'm already in that groove.
So I have to ask you, since it's the cliche question, and I don't know if you're a resolutions person, but considering the shit show of 2020, do you even want to chance it by even suggesting anything positive for 2021?
I am so
Like, what are your
nervous.
thoughts?
I am so superstitious. If anyone's watched a football game with me, they know
Throw the salt over your shoulder.
I am superstitious like in everything. But this thing, even right now, I would never say like, hey, 2021 couldn't be any worse. You know what I mean? Like it's like poop. I'll swear and spit and turn around 3 times and ask permission to come back in the house. But it's like I'm not going down that road because it's just like, as of right now, I can't wait to get 50,000 feet over this, get this behind us, and have like a look back and be like, holy, this was so weird.
Right.
Like what we're living through and what's the new normal on a daily basis. I'm hoping that at some point in our lives we can look back and be like, this is insane. Well, like that, and we're like, basically, if you had told people that this was going to happen and this was going to last, I mean, we're talking 10 months right now, right? 10 months since officially right now. Like, nobody would, you know what I mean? People would have lost their
like
shit.
when you guys were like, oh, you should do a segment for this little thing we're doing for the next couple weeks, I was like, sure.
It was like 40 weeks ago. You know what I mean? It was like literally like chill. Like newborn babies are walking and talking.
Honest to God, it's gonna be a year before I see like babies that were just. I mean, it's just. I'm feeling very much the same way. I almost don't even want to speak about 2021. I kind of want to like tiptoe in. Peek around the corner a little bit. Be like, what's going on over here? Is it looking better? I'm nervous.
I mean, the blinders are on for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm just going, like I'm just basically one day at a time. And like, people are pushing, I mean, obviously, me having a theater company and a physical theater, it's like, I'm getting nervous about, because I've been planning and unplanning and packing and unpacking that bag so many times over the last 10 months. I mean, we would have done like we'd be on our 4th show right now.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Since that dropped. Yeah. So basically we'd pretty much be in rehearsals for the 4th show of that set right now. So it's crazy. Yeah, and everybody's going through this. I mean, we're not alone. I mean, like anything having to do with, people.
Yeah.
But people, you were getting mad love on the interview from Maureen, Donna, everybody there. And Cody here said that his dad was interviewed for the book.
That's so cool. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, I've been flipping through it, and he's just such a fascinating person. I've done a couple of shows with him, like in the past. With I don't know if you had ever seen John McIntyre, but he had done some shows, and Cyril was always a guest. So I knew him. But, it's always different when you're doing the interviewing because it's a different experience. And he was so gracious and so nice.
That was great. And I loved his wife walking around in the background.
I know. I was like,
it was just like,
whatever.
I loved it. It added so much to it. It was just like, it was literally like you were hanging out at his table.
I know. It was great. It was great. I was just so honored. And what a way to sort of end the year.
It's a good one. I mean, hey, you bookended it well from where you started to how far you've come in your interviews.
It's so wild. And I'm going to tease out a little bit for next week. I promise.
Please.
And this is more for Dave. I promise after next week's, they're going to be back
after next week.
Yeah, because here's why. Because I managed to get, his name's Dr. Antoine Douahi, and he's the head at Western Psych, and he's going to be discussing everything you'd ever want to know about medical marijuana and where it's actually coming from when we're talking about like the psych perspective, the addiction perspective. He's beyond brilliant. And we had such a fascinating conversation because it's such a hot topic right now in terms of legalization. And I thought, well, let's kick the year off right with talking about medical marijuana.
That's like a spoon. That's like
need it.
a spoonful of sugar with the medicine there,
Yeah.
Natalie. No, that sounds worth it. If they're rocking like this, I got no complaints.
But how long? How long?
It's
2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's all. It's a simple 2.5 hour interview. No, it's a little bit like tonight, but then I promise you, the ones I've lined up following are going to be back on track.
All right. Okay. All right.
I'm sorry.
We'll hold you to it, but
I'm just afraid I'm gonna slip. I gotta it's like when the train's coming and you gotta make sure that you put the train on the right track. I'm always afraid I'm gonna slip, hit the wrong track, and the train's gonna derail. That's all. It's just I'm sweating. That's all. I just don't want. I want it to be good. You know.
I sweat when I'm doing these interviews because a lot of times I only have them for like a certain amount of time. So it's like if they're running long, I'm like, oh God, I have to wrap this up because I'm keeping track of it, But you guys,
it's fair. We're all sweating. Everybody's sweating
all the time.
Look at Patrick. He's sweating. Right?
I'm sweating. I'm not sweating. I'm like, this is like right now. I've been on this show longer than any goddamn thing. Like this is the most screen time I've had in my life, and I don't want any more. I don't think anybody else wants it either.
Come on.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I'm not sweating right now, but I'm sweating on the inside.
On the inside, that's fair. That's fair. But I've loved being with you guys every. How many weeks has it been? 40 weeks about. So
I mean, probably
42.
42 is the whole show. You probably came on week 2 or 3, right?
So for me, I think it's about 40. So I can't believe it, but I'm so lucky to be with you guys, and it's been such a fun escape once a week to actually connect with people that are doing things and trying to be positive and create community during this terrible time. So it's our little like what you were saying, when you look back, this is like a little bit of this little local history that was created right here. And I'm just honored to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you, man. And this is a little time capsule it's turned into. But I mean, the like looking back on it, like when we're done with this thing, and we will be done with this thing. I mean, like the show and the pandemic the show caused. But like I'm hoping, I mean, I'm hopeful. I don't want to say what I'm hopeful for, but it's next year.
Yeah.
So I mean, same. We just did 10 months.
You make it sound like we went to prison.
We did.
10 months.
This is a prison. This is a prison of sorts.
We did. This is.
You can't leave.
It's true. You
can't stop. Got to show up.
Nope. Yep.
And it's a prison of fear.
Yeah, and we would have gotten off earlier for good behavior, but people weren't being good, so here we are.
No, people were not being good. So,
no.
But anyway, fantastic. Thank you for doing your time here with us.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been well. Thanks. So we're going to wind up the year here right now. Dave, you got anything to add here? Wait, what's going on, Dave, with the in-show poll? I forgot to ask Natalie.
Yeah, I want to weigh in here.
Sinkhole bus.
Yeah.
Or sinkhole forklift.
I have to say, my first instinct was to go with the bus, but then I thought a sinkhole with the forklift situation, it's just weird. So I'm going to go with the forklift.
Okay, and that's current. It's current.
Yeah, I like to be current. What can I say?
Dave, how's the vote looking?
And while I bring this up, I would like to remind people that Kurt Angle is currently beating the leotards off of the Cookie Man, Mr. Cookie, Dr. Cookie Table. So listen, folks, if you care, togetherpgh.com/vote. And if you don't care, I don't care, togetherpgh.com/vote. Look at that, 50-50. Somebody finish this off.
Dave, we can't see it.
I'm telling you, it's 50-50 right down the line. We need one more vote.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is. Scroll back. That's cool. I like
vote,
Dave, I like that zoom in thing. That was nice. I like that.
It wasn't intentional, but thank you. I'll take it.
I think we should use that from now on.
Cool.
So that's good.
Thank you, Maureen. I just want to give a shout out to anybody that's flattering me. You're my new best friend.
There you go. It's true. It's true.
And Nightline, was that? See, I was thinking when you end the show, what was that? George Clooney played that character, and he's ended it as good night and good luck.
Good
and
night
I feel like
good
that's
luck.
a good way to end.
Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Yeah.
Good night, good luck. It should have. That's how we should have ended like the first show. Good night and good luck.
Exactly.
Because you're gonna need as much as screw everybody. This thing is There's only the mega rich has this thing not affected in a
They've
bad
done
way.
real well.
I mean, Bezos, Jeff. I know
Oh.
I say this out loud. I'm probably going to get droned, but yeah, he made
Cyril
like
Wecht can
100.
survive all of
He
the
made
things
like
he said.
so many billions, like
Yeah.
billions,
Mhm.
billions of dollars off of this thing. So
Yeah,
anyway.
tax the rich.
Well, anyway, let's end this on a positive note. Nothing but love in the new year for everybody.
Right.
I hope everybody's dreams come true. And I'm not going to say it can't be any worse.
No, don't say
I'm
that.
not going to say it can only get better. All I can say
that
is
either.
take it one day at a time and
right.
listen to Dr. Cyril Wecht. Go get checked, guys.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah, go get
I thought
checked.
he was going to say something really profound. You know,
That
it's like,
was profound.
What advice do you have for the living? He's like, have good parents with good genes. I was like,
you better have
"Wait."
good genes. That's true. I mean, look at him.
I
He's
was like,
89 years
okay.
old. He's got 75 degrees.
He's so smug.
He's got 75. He doesn't have a room on his walls for all the
No.
diplomas. He had to build an addition
Exactly.
for those. But anyway, yeah. Here's to you, Cyril. Man, 89 more, buddy.
That's right.
And yeah, keep it rolling. So thank you, Dave. Pete, how is Pete still slanging kraut?
He's gone. He fell off. I think I'm guessing maybe he got to go home. Maybe. Maybe.
getting
He's
out
been
on
working
good
his
behavior.
butt off.
Well, the missus puts him to work around the holidays.
Gotta keep
holiday
the boys
season.
busy.
The S&D Polish Deli, folks, I would check them out for your sauerkraut and your pork and sauerkraut needs.
Seriously, there's no better. Like, tomorrow is your sauerkraut day? No, wait, 2 days from now.
I'm Christmas Day, but Hal's doing it Christmas. I'm not Christmas Day, New Year's Day. Hal's doing it New Year's Eve.
It's
Yeah,
good
'cause
for
he's
you. You should
wild.
just eat it every day.
He's buried in kraut. I just got a text from Pete. Like he's watching the show, but he can't be on. He's buried in a kraut.
That's fair.
But yeah, actually, I want to thank everybody. Natalie, thank you for everything you're doing here. I also want to thank Aaron Hart, Kate Romaine, Dave Bracey, Dave Mansueto, obviously.
Yeah,
Pete.
Dave.
It's been, like milestones. We've had milestone episodes on the show, and now the fact that that we're putting this year behind us in March, when we were talking about like, hey, I'm thinking 8 weeks. Everyone's saying 4. I'm thinking this could go long. 8 weeks.
We were so young and naive then.
Yeah, it was a different thing. I mean,
Different era.
Like, yeah, time's flying, man, and
I know.
every day is both an eternity and a blink. So,
Yep.
So get to it. Positive, Dave. You have any positive words for our
Yeah,
viewers in the
Dave.
new year?
Happy New Year, everybody. Let's make it a good one.
I liked that. You know what it was is the optimism of children, of a smiling baby.
That was
Right?
a smiling baby to you?
I don't know. I don't have kids that are small. I don't know.
No. I'm just messing with Dave. But seriously, to everyone, have a happy New Year, and no matter how shitty you think it was, someday it's gonna get better. How's that?
Right.
How's that?
Yeah.
I'd like the same one. But
And
yeah,
good luck.
thank everybody for watching and supporting businesses in Pittsburgh and trying to take care of people. You're not alone, and thank you for being alone together with us. So
That was so beautiful, Patrick.
thanks, guys. All right. So nothing but love, and we will see you next year.
I was hoping you'd say that.
There it is. Signing off. Good night and good luck. All right. Bye.
What do you think, Patrick? Sinkhole bus.
Oh, somebody came in.
That's right.
And made it happen. That's pretty amazing. The sinkhole bus. You know what? It was more iconic.
That's for sure.
You know? I mean, it deserves it. And it was actually the first time we actually moved somebody from the big jag-off to the little jag-off, because the sinkhole bus lost to the parking chair, if you remember, in the first round, before the seismic run that the parking chair had before it ran into Kurt Angle's ass, because yeah.
Well, it's back with a vengeance.
Well, Kurt Angle's doing it, man. I mean, this is it. I mean, he's an iconic figure, man. He's doing it. But the cookie table, man, that is so perfectly Pittsburgh. So let's get this going. Get people voting on this. And Happy New Year, Merry New Year. And let's get it done, Dave. You shutting us down, Dave?
Shutting it down.